We're a youth baseball podcast, and we only deal with matters that face the youth athlete, the coach, and the parents. What advice would you give to the parents to be able to help support their player in a better, more supportive way?
It's okay to fail, and not any added pressure from your parents is huge. And then beyond that, having parents that are available and ready to help you in training whenever you want it.
This is a public service announcement. This is a public service announcement. What you're about to listen to may make you yell, shout, smile, and even laugh out loud. Youth baseball players, coaches, and fans join the Slide Podcast crew on their journey to make baseball fun again. Hear stories from players of all ages, plus tips and tricks from coaches and scouts. Now, if you're ready, give us a loud play ball.
Play ball.
There we go.
Did I do it right?
Running. You did it great. Hey,
Perfect.
Did you recognize that voice in the recording?
Yeah.
That's Shark, the DJ. He did as our intro.
That's
music.
awesome. I love that.
Hey, welcome back to the Slide Podcast, everyone. Today is a huge show for us. We are joined with 3 field reporters currently, and there will be a 4th joining us here in about probably 20 minutes. And we have a special guest today. But before we introduce the guest, we're gonna introduce our field reporters. So today we have Mateo, the baseball kid out of California.
I'm Mateo, the baseball kid.
That's right. And he's dressed as a banana. And he's got some chain on. He's got he's got it all. And a bananas jersey too. Look at that. And he's what is that called again when you're doing that?
Mewing.
Yes, he's mewing. I may say mooing later. I don't know. We also have Lila Brickwall Bratcher. How are you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I am great. Are you excited?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. And then our third field reporter that we have with us right now, Mr. Trip Dog. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Man, I am great. It is awesome to be here with you dudes and ladies because we're going to have so much fun today. And guess what? This is the very first time that we're live streaming on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
Are we good? Are we ready to go?
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
All right.
Yeah!
Coach Jen's with me also today. Jen, how are you been doing?
I'm good. I'm ready for this. We're going to change some lives today. This is gonna be
You think
great.
so?
Yeah, I do.
Well, look, this has already changed my life a little bit, so you know what? Only good from there. So, well, awesome. Well, we're not going to spend any more time chit-chatting with us. We're going to introduce our guest. And Mateo, I'm going to let you introduce our guest.
All right, so I am Mateo, the baseball kid, and today at the Slide Podcast, we have our guest, Coach Rack, who is a baseball influencer, and he also plays for the Savannah Bananas, and he is very, very amazing. Let's go!
Thanks, Mateo.
Coach Rack,
Appreciate
welcome
the
to the
intro.
show, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys having me. I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah. Well, look, we obviously know, you've been around the game of baseball for a while. I think all of us that's on this show right now, including everyone watching online, follows you very closely. So most of the questions are going to come from these field reporters because they've done a lot of homework with their peers. But I want to know just like where it all started for you. Like when did you start playing baseball and when did you feel like baseball was going to be maybe something that you pursue in life?
Yeah. Well, baseball started for me at around 9 years old, so a little later than some. The reason being is because I wanted to be an Olympic gymnast before that. And so from the ages 4 until 8, I did competitive gymnastics, and I loved it. And I would watch VHS tapes. You kids probably don't know what those are, of the Olympics. And, yeah, I wanted to be an Olympic gymnast. And then turns out it's hard to find a men's gymnastics program. Not as many men want to do gymnastics. I don't know if it's the leotards or what it is, but once I got to 8 years old, the gym that I was going to, they cut the men's program. My dad was like, hey, you should try another sport. So one day we went down to Reed Park Little League and we watched a game. It was the Dodgers versus the Angels. And I knew nothing about baseball, like nothing. Like I specifically remember one of the batters on the Reed Park Little League Dodgers hit a foul ball. It went over the backstop, and I was like, Dad, why wasn't that a home run? Like it went over the fence. And he was like, yeah, that's not how that works. So I knew nothing about baseball at all. That was the first season that I started playing in, I think, 2006, or yes, probably summer of 2006. And after playing one season, I was hooked, and I was like, I'm going to play pro baseball someday. That's the new goal instead of the Olympics.
Wow. That's interesting. How did you? Where did the influence of gymnastics and Olympic come from such an early age?
Well, yeah, I don't know, honestly. My sister did gymnastics, and so naturally I wanted to do gymnastics. My mom made me wait till I turned 5 to officially start taking classes, so I would just practice on my own before that. But yeah, for whatever reason, yeah, the Olympics were right out the gate exactly what I wanted to do.
Wow. That's crazy. Trip, have you ever put on a leotard and tried to walk on a balance beam?
I'm glad that I haven't.
No? Well, hey, look, there's a lot of skill that comes from something like that. Your balance, your core strength, like all that stuff.
That's right.
What's that, Trip?
I'd end up face planting probably.
But think about the likes that you would get on that video.
Oh, yeah.
That's motivating.
It is. All right, well, we're going to start with some questions. We try our best to keep everything conversational, so it's not really like an interrogation on you, Coach Rack. So
nice.
As we're talking and questions come, just, let us know if we're too much for you. So I will say, just for everyone, as you're watching your computer, if it gets blurry a little bit, that's because this software is uploading as we're broadcasting. So it's going to be a pure HD signal. So don't get confused if your screen gets a little blurry every now and then. So cool. All right. Lila, I'm going to let you go first because I know you were hustling to get some questions. What you got for Coach Rack?
All right, so we all know he's a baseball influencer, but what inspired you to be like a coach?
Great question. I think I was inspired by both the good and the bad coaches that I had growing up because I had a lot of both. So for me, when I finished playing with the Nationals, I was trying to decide whether I should keep pursuing professional baseball or whether I should move on to something else. And I couldn't see myself getting a normal job. And I was like, you know what? I think I have a lot of information that I think would be really helpful to other people, specifically about the mental game. So I was like, I'm just going to make some videos that my younger self would appreciate, whether it's about the mental game, not putting so much pressure on yourself, learning to be in the moment and enjoy where you're at and not look so much to the future. Those kinds of big life lessons. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to make some videos about that my younger self would appreciate. And some of those were inspired by moments of bad coaching that I had growing up, and some of them were inspired by moments of good coaching that I had from coaches growing up. But I think I was inspired by both the positive and negative experiences in my career, I'd say.
I love that. Does that make sense to you, Lila? The good and the bad coaching? Because that is one thing that I have learned throughout my journey of my life is you can learn something from everyone, regardless if it's good or bad. You can either learn what don't work or you can learn what does work, and you can pick and choose from those things. And I think a lot of people, especially in the Little League and the youth baseball world, we get so upset about if we just don't like a coach. But you know what? If you keep your player positive, and there's going to be things that he learns from a coach regardless. And I think that is valuable tools as you continue on in life, I would say, right, Coach Rack? You remember those things very specifically, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And something you also said, I'll touch on this real quickly. I'm known to get on, little rabbit trails, as they call them, so I'll try and avoid those. I'll try and avoid those as best I can. But I will say there were some coaches. I'd say I learned at least at least one good thing from pretty much every coach that I had, regardless. There was definitely some bad in the mix, but even those coaches I definitely learned some good things from. So I think it's really important to be patient with people and always know that most coaches have your best interest in mind, whether or not it seems like they do. But yeah.
Yep. All right, Trip. I'm gonna let you go next, sir.
It was good. I'm not even gonna lie, it smelled like up dog in here.
Okay.
What's up, dog?
What's up with you?
There it is.
It just went right over my head there.
No, I saw that one coming. I've been around. I've seen that one before.
Hey, I got a question. So,
Okay.
I know you own lots of Bruce Bowls. You should shout out to Bruce Bowl and ask them if they can make Savannah Banana Bruce Bowls.
Dude, that's a great question, man. Honestly, I actually had a conversation with the owners of Bruce Bolt about 3 days ago, Guard and Bear, and they do like what the Savannah Bananas are doing. I guess apparently they actually talked with the Bananas a few years ago. At the time, Bruce Bolt was a much smaller company. It's still like just a family company, but it has since grown quite a bit in the past couple years. At the moment, I know the Bananas got a deal with Evo Shield, and so they're kind of competitors with Bruce Bolt. So that's where the Bananas are at the moment. But I personally also, Trip Dog, would love to see a little Bruce Bolt Bananas crossover. So Lord willing, at some point that'll happen.
For real, that'd be fire.
That would be pretty cool. I agree.
Yeah.
We gotta be the first ones you send them into, huh?
For real.
Oh yeah, I got you guys.
Yeah.
Look at there. Look at there. All right, Mateo, you're up, sir.
All right, so my first question I have for you is can you tell us about your prep for the banana tryout? Were you nervous? What was your feeling about it?
It's a great question, and I was nervous. Yeah, I think I make these videos all the time about how you should, not put too much pressure on yourself and, just be yourself when you go to a tryout. But then once you're actually there, it is actually pretty difficult to do, no matter how much you preach it. So, I was definitely nervous that day. The way that I prepared for it was I just started working out as best I can every day for the 2 weeks leading up to it. But to be honest with you, I didn't train as much as I could have. It actually wasn't even on my radar. I wasn't planning on going to it at all. A friend of mine just mentioned about a week and a half, 2 weeks before the tryout, hey, there's a tryout happening in LA, you should go. And I thought about it and last minute kind of decided to go. So I didn't train too much other than just working out. Took some swings in my batting cage at my parents' house. But beyond that, I didn't do too much preparation. I didn't do too much mental preparation either. I was kind of in the mentality of if I don't do well, then maybe it's not God's will for me to go play for the Bananas. If I do well, then so be it. I'm sure I'll get a spot if it's meant to be. So that was kind of my mentality. And I think that trying to have that mentality took a little bit of that pressure off of me as well.
Well, what was the environment like? Because obviously I know Byro and I know Gillum. And the guys that were out there with you, what was the environment like? Because obviously we want to see, or the Bananas want to see the entertainment factor. What was that like in the environment?
Good question. The environment was about exactly what you would expect at a Bananas tryout. It was very lighthearted. Obviously, we were still competing out there. There were people. Most of the guys who showed up to the tryout didn't get a spot. So it was definitely still competitive, but from the top down, Vyro and Gillum kind of set the tone with hey, we don't care if you guys mess up. We want to just see what you're capable of. So try the crazy catch, try the behind the back, try all the crazy stuff. We want to see what you're willing to try, and we value that over you having a 1,000 fielding percentage and batting 1,000 on the day. We want to see what you're capable of. So put yourself out there. So that was kind of the environment that they set. And so I kind of ran with it. I made a bunch of mistakes and did a couple things that were pretty cool. But it was very, very lighthearted about exactly what you'd expect at a Bananas tryout.
Very cool. Big E, you have now joined us, sir. How are you?
Welcome.
How are you?
All right. You know who this dude is we're talking to?
Yeah, Coach Rack.
Yeah, it is. All right. Well, look, I'm going to let you go now. You got a question for this dude?
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
So, about all your videos, why did you get into coaching younger kids?
Yeah,
the younger kid approach.
Yeah, definitely. Good question, Big E. We touched on this a little bit ago, but I'll give you a kind of a little bit of a new answer, I guess. I when I started making coaching videos, I noticed that the kids who were actually resonating with it the most were some high schoolers, but also some middle school and some younger kids as well. And that's where a few months into making coaching videos, I started trying to do a little bit more of challenge videos and competition videos because I felt like those were a little bit more fun. My first videos were literally just me talking into a camera, and they probably weren't super exciting, and they were more geared towards, say, college and professional players who wanted to improve their mindset. After a couple months, I was like, you know what? Let's have some fun with this. Let's do some, back net challenges. Let's play some fungo golf, that kind of stuff. And so I think my content has now evolved. It started off me kind of making mental advice for a high schooler, and it's kind of evolved into more of let's make content that kids can enjoy, and then along the way we can also talk about character and some of those important things, and also give my best tips for any age group. A lot of times when I'm making a video, I will ask the question, okay, what kind of age range am I trying to make this video for? And I'll kind of make this picture in my head of someone. So let's say, for example, how old are you, Big E?
I'm 11.
11. Okay, so for one of my videos, I might be like, okay, what would my 11-year-old self really need to hear? And so I'd think back to the team that I was playing for when I was 11 and some of the things that I experienced at that point in time and some of the things I was thinking. And then I'd be like, okay, I want to make a video for my 11-year-old self, or I'm going to make a video for 11-year-old Big E, and that's who I'm talking to for this video. So there's definitely times where I am thinking of a specific age group when I'm making a coaching video. But yeah, I guess it really depends, though. I try to make a little bit for everybody who plays baseball and softball, of course.
That is awesome. Jen, I'm going to let you go.
You've said the word mindset several times, talking about the mental aspect of maybe things that you've gone through. Can you elaborate a little bit on, the game of baseball we talk about all the time is a game of virtually like failures. You're hitting 250 or 300, you're doing really well, but that means that you failed 3 out of 4 times if you're hitting 250. So can you talk about kind of what you went through just as a kid, some of the struggles that you may have had and how you got through those things, and how your mindset helped to get you past tough times?
Great question. Yeah, mindset. I mean, what you guys will notice is as you, and I'm sure you saw this, playing at the Division I college level, when you get up to a certain level, everyone's capable of doing something good every time they step up to the plate. Like, everyone in the lineup can get a hit at any given time. Everyone's physically capable. The big separator when you get up to the higher levels is the mental game. And I guess when I was younger, I didn't deal with a lot of the stuff that I dealt with as I got older. So say, when I was 11, 10 years old, I don't think that I cared too much how I did. And I think part of that might have been there was no social media. There was no one to compare myself to, which was helpful. I didn't have someone online who was 11 years old hitting the ball 330 feet. I'm sure that person was out there, but I didn't see them. They were out of sight, out of mind. So for me, when I was younger, I didn't really deal with the comparison game. Like, sometimes when teammates would do really well, I would sometimes be like, oh man, I wish I could do that. There was some of that, but I didn't think about that stuff too much. I really just enjoyed it. And once I got to a high school age, and I started trying to compete, trying to get a spot in college, and then once I got to college ball, then it was like, that's when the real mental struggle started to happen, because then it was like, ooh, I might not get to play baseball anymore unless I perform well. And that was the kind of pressure that would change things for me on the field. So I would say the mental game, I didn't deal with it as young of an age, but I will say I have seen a lot of younger kids now in today's day and age struggle with those mental things a little bit younger than I experienced them.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think so. I completely agree.
I was thinking.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, you touched on something earlier that made me think of Alex Hormozy. I don't know if you listen to him, but... Oh, yeah. So he says on his podcast a lot that he's documenting because, the Warren Buffetts and the people in the past didn't get to, the Jackie Robinsons, and they didn't get to document their journey, so he's doing it for people. And I feel like that's exactly what you're doing. You're documenting it. It's fun for you, but you're documenting your journey and what's fun about the game for you now so that other people can enjoy it. And I love that. That's amazing.
Well, that is super encouraging to hear. Thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're right, Jen. It's almost like everything that we do on social media, it's almost a time capsule.
Yeah.
Like, and then every time you get that reminder, specifically Facebook, this time last year, you're like, oh my goodness, it's been a year, Rack, so I was listening to your interview with Coach Ballgame, which I love James. I love Coach Ballgame. Like, he's amazing. And you guys were talking about the competition level at the youth game. And my question for you is, what would you tell parents today? If their kids are playing, whether it's rec league, travel ball, showcase ball, what would you say to the parents about allowing their player just to be themselves? Because I feel like what we were talking about earlier with the mindset and the comparison, sometimes the parents are right in the middle of that. And so what advice would you give to the parents to be able to help support their player in a better, more supportive way?
Yeah, it's a great question. Man, I'm going to have to give that one some thought. I think a lot of parents, from what I've seen from the outside, and again, I'm not a parent, so I try to have as much grace as I can with parents because I'm sure it's much more difficult than I think it is. But that being said, I have seen a lot of parents really so badly want their kids to succeed, and I'm sure sometimes that is out of because they want to see their kid win and they want to see their kid be happy, and that might be part of it. Maybe sometimes it's parents themselves feel a sense of accomplishment when their kids win, and so they selfishly want their kids to win. I'm sure there's some of that in a lot of instances. But I think the best thing a parent can do is cheer for their kid from the sidelines and be ready to assist in any way possible when the kids need it. Like for me, I feel like my parents did a perfect job with that. They were never upset at me if I ever did poorly, and I think that's probably part of the reason why I never struggled with the mental stuff as a kid. I could go 0 for 4. I'd be disappointed in myself. Like, obviously I don't want to go 0 for 4, but I didn't have to hear about it on the car ride home. My parents were like, let's go get something to eat. Let's change the subject. We don't want you to have to dwell on that. So because of that, it felt like I was never letting my parents down when I didn't do well. Right, and I think that's really important. So if a parent can make that environment comfortable for their kids to fail, then the kid's more likely to be themselves on the field because they're not going to be scared of doing something that's going to make their parents see them differently. So I think that's an important thing.
Love it.
I think another thing that's important is parents being available. And I know it's so hard with, different work schedules and stuff like that, but my dad was always available to throw me batting practice. And so there were lots of times where, and probably 3-4 times a week growing up, we would just meet up. He'd go straight from work at, Firestone or whatever auto shop he was working at the time, meet at that field, Reed Park, and we would just take batting practice all the way up through college even. Like in college, I would, on a day off, I'd drive back home, we'd go take batting practice, and then I'd drive back up to Biola. So even through college, he was always available. So I think the combination of those two things, one, creating an environment where it's okay to fail and not any added pressure from your parents is huge. And then beyond that, having parents that are available and ready to help you in training whenever you want it, that's huge. And my dad never pushed me to go train. He was never like, hey, you got to go take batting practice, dude. You got to go be better. I wanted to, genuinely, I was excited to go practice, and he was there ready to help me, and he would never give me a hard time about it. So I think that those were two big things my parents did that I would definitely try to do with my kids as well.
Yeah, I think that's huge. Because baseball is a hard enough game as it is, right? And some of these kids, I'm sure some of our reporters are probably batting 500 or more right now in their respective leagues, but the game is built around failure. And, if parents don't grasp that at I would say their child's early age, that's really what will help your kid get through those tough times, is knowing you support them even though they may have a bad game. And,
yeah.
And the last thing that you said, though, your dad never had to get on to you about going to practice because it was in your heart, not his. And I think that is so key. I hear a lot of times where, kids have to go to practice and kids have to go outside and hit off of a tee. And look, if it's not in your kid's heart and it's not in that player's desire, it's not going to help you a lot. So, keep the game fun as long as, that's what we say all the time is the game's got to stay fun, or else you just won't stay in the game long.
That is so true. And actually, I got one more comment on that.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, with the rabbit trails, they're frequent with me. But I am a firm believer that kids will want to do what they enjoy most, and they'll want to do that more. So, for instance, like if the greatest fun that a kid knows is playing video games, they're probably going to want to play video games all the time. And as a parent, if you make baseball more of a job or a chore or something that they don't want to do and it's not enjoyable for them, or something that they associate with anxiety or something like that, they're not going to want to do it as much. And I've heard a lot of parents say, oh, well, why doesn't my kid want to work? Why don't they want to go to the baseball field? Like, it feels like I'm forcing them to do it. I don't want to force them to do it, but they just don't want to do it. I think sometimes it's because, some people aren't meant to play baseball, and that's okay. But I think other times it might be that it's more fun for a kid to stay home and play video games with their friends, because that's safer, that's more enjoyable, and they get more enjoyment out of that, because when they go to the field and they go to play, there's all these external pressures on them that make the game less fun, or they're not allowed to celebrate, or things like that maybe make the game a little bit less fun for kids. And because of that, I think that ends up pushing kids away. Whereas for me, I felt like I was having so much fun with baseball growing up that's what I wanted to work on more. Can you guys hear me? I just lost my screen for a second. You can? Okay, perfect. Now we're back. Anyways, that was just another side note. I think you're going to want to do more of what they find the most fun, so make the game fun.
Look, I'm an adult. I'm an old man at this point, and I am the exact same way.
Me too.
I want to do what I enjoy the most.
Yeah.
I mean, and what I don't enjoy, I don't want to do. So, like taking out the garbage. I mean, who wants to do that?
I don't.
So. Well, speaking of having fun, so I'm sure you've heard by now we're having our first youth banana ball tournament in Cleveland, Ohio this year. And all 4 of these kids here are going to be playing in that tournament. So
Sure.
as I shifted over to these guys to ask you a question, these are going to be the kids that's balling out and playing and having some fun with banana ball. So, Lila, I know you had a question around that. I'm going to tee you up for that one. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
So, as you know, me and my boys are going to banana ball in Cleveland, and I just want to know what we should be working on. To get ready.
Yeah, it's a great question, Lila. I think that to be a good banana ball player, there's a couple things you got to do. From what I've learned, what I've found in the first couple months is it's actually a lot harder than baseball. Like if you guys are playing banana ball the way that we're playing, it's a lot harder to hit. It's different because it's so fast. Like the pitchers are just pitching really quickly. They might spin around and throw the ball at you. They might, who knows, do a backflip and then throw the ball at you. There could be, you never know what's coming. So I feel like as a hitter, your approach has to be a lot more simple. You can't try and have this whole chess strategy going up to the plate. Oh, I'm going to sit curveball here and then fastball. It's like, no. You just got to see the ball, hit the ball. That's it. Like, it's got to be as simple as possible. So from an approach standpoint, like if you guys are stepping up to the plate this banana ball tournament, just think see ball, hit ball, keep it real simple. That's from hitting. As far as defense goes, you got to have a trick play in mind before the ball is hit. I've never heard anyone talk about this before, so I feel kind of funny talking about it. But like when I'm in the outfield, there are times where, depending on the hitter, I'll have in mind like a trick play that I'm going to try when they hit it. That being said, I've only successfully landed one trick play so far, so I'm not like the one to talk on trick plays. But let's say there's a hitter who hits the ball. Let's say it's a right-handed hitter, and I'm playing left field. If they hit a fly ball to me, it's probably going to stay pretty true. That's when I might try like a backflip catch or something crazy on, right? It'd be something simple. But if I'm playing left field and there's a left-hand, it's that simple, right? Yeah, yeah, as simple as it can be. If there's a left-handed hitter, that ball's going to tail towards the line more. It's going to be a lot harder to make a crazy trick play. You might just want to catch the ball normal. So know when to do a trick play. That's something that I also had to learn with banana ball. But have maybe one trick play that you're practicing right now. Maybe it's between the legs. On the infield, you field the ball normal, transfer it between your legs, and then throw it to first. Maybe think about those kind of trick plays. Practice that one. Really get really good at that one. And in a lower pressure situation in the game, maybe the first batter of an inning, or there's nobody on base and someone hits you a ball, like that's when you're ready to rip one of those trick plays. But you got to have the trick play already planned in the back of your head, and you have to already have had practiced it, because otherwise, if you try it for the first time in the game, you're probably not going to land it. So, yeah.
Well, I got to stop you here because there's a lot of people that say banana ball is scripted, but you said in a lower competitive like situation, so that means you actually really want to win as a banana?
More than you know. That was the thing that surprised me a lot. Like, I mean, I knew it was competitive, but like, guys are frustrated after we lose. We're like, I mean, this is some of the most competitive baseball that I've ever seen, and I think part of the reason why is because the celebrations just like exacerbate the tension the competitive tension that's already there, right? It's like, not only did you lose that inning, but they also did this whole choreographed dance over home plate as you ran off the field. You know, like that just makes you want to win a little bit more.
Salt.
Oh yeah, salt on the wound. So yeah, definitely highly competitive. And as far as when we do trick plays, it is strategic. If there's a time where we need an out, like count how many trick plays you see in the 9th inning in banana ball. You don't ever really see them because we're trying to win. We're trying to get the last out and win the game. So yeah.
Yeah. And just so you guys know, so we're playing 6 innings in Cleveland, and so that 6th inning, every run counts.
Mm-hmm.
So just like Rack said, as you got to win each inning up until that 6th inning, and then every run counts. So, all right, Mateo, what you got, Banana Man?
All right. So I have a question for you about one of your games, and so one time in basically, how have you always been a Dance Dance Revolution fan? Because I saw one of your videos of something like that. I thought it was really funny, so I wanted to ask.
Yeah. I was homeschooled, and I think I mentioned that in that video, so I had a lot of time at home, and my mom would, on the Xbox, play Dance Dance Revolution as her exercise, and so I would also, do Dance Dance Revolution here in the mix, and I got pretty good at it. So, I usually, I could go on expert even at an arcade, and I'm pretty good at Dance Dance Revolution. So, yeah, the other day, the creative team was like, we want you to go to home plate, and we're going to put Dance Dance Revolution up on the scoreboard, and you're going to, try to hit all the steps, and then you're going to hit a baseball. And that's what I did. So, yeah, who knew?
So that was your high score.
That's pretty awesome.
My high score? Well, I think they used to do it by grade. It was like A, B, C, D. I used to get A's all the time. Sometimes double A's, I think. Yeah, I don't think I ever got one completely perfect, but I would go full rounds without missing a step, though. Yeah.
That's impressive.
What'd you say?
That, Mateo?
How the walk-off feel?
Walk-offs feel pretty good, and honestly, that's probably one of my favorite things about banana ball is you can walk something off every inning. Like I had 2 walk-offs that day. That's normally not a thing. So, that's probably one of my favorite rules of banana ball is just that you're able to, walk off every inning. I feel bad for the party animals. They're always the visiting team, so I never get to walk anything off. But it's a lot of fun getting those walk-offs, and that's got to be one of the best feeling in sports for sure.
And as I was thinking about it, as we were planning the event for the banana ball event, I feel like that rule that you got to win the inning, that levels the playing field in the youth sports game in such a way that will keep teams involved through to the last inning. Because you see it a lot where whether any tournament that you go to, there's going to, there's a high chance or probability that there's going to be a blowout inning, any given inning. And in this situation, 14 runs may give you 1 point. Mm-hmm. And it's not a blowout, even after those runs have passed. If anything, you just tired out the other team. And now, the game is still fair. So, Big E.
So,
you're up, dude.
All right. So, I got a question for you. So, was your dad surprised when you got signed by the Phillies?
One more time?
Was your dad surprised when he got signed by the Phillies?
Yeah, it was actually the Nationals, but they're very similar looking teams. But yeah, he was surprised. I hadn't spoken to a scout for months leading up to that day. And so it was definitely not something that my parents were expecting. They were hoping that I would get signed, and I was too. But I hadn't spoken to a scout in forever. I didn't think it was likely that I'd get a chance to play. I was a senior. COVID had happened the year before. That was my optimal chance to get signed as a junior. And then, so I was a senior. I had a great season, but didn't talk to any scouts. It was a surprise for him. It was a surprise for my mom, surprise for me. I was watching the draft tracker on my phone just in case, but I was pretty certain I wouldn't get picked. So I think we both were pretty surprised.
So it was like a shocking moment, like, oh my Lord.
Yep, just like that. I had thought of that moment a lot when I was playing in college. Sometimes when I was working out and training, late hours and stuff, I'd be like, I'm thinking of this time in the future. Like, if I could just, get there, that would be so cool. And that's like a lot of times what I was working towards. So, big sense of accomplishment for sure when I got that phone call.
That's so cool.
I know that had to be an amazing moment for you and your dad. Like, that's, look, when I was growing up, I wanted to be Jose Canseco.
Yep.
I'm sure you're familiar with that dude, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm a little bit older. So I watched the Bash Brothers. I was a big A's fan, and like that was the goal. Didn't work out that way. I'm sitting here now talking to you. So, but I have to imagine that was an amazing moment. So,
no doubt.
Trip Dog,
Yes,
you're up,
sir.
dude.
I got a question. So, do you have Riz or no Riz?
Nah, man, I don't got no Riz. I am married, so I guess there was, potentially
There's
some
Riz
of that. At some point in time, I did have said Riz, but not anymore, though. Yeah.
Oh. At least
All
you
right,
had
look,
point.
I am learning all these new terms. So I
Me
learned
too.
capping the other night.
Yeah.
Riz is a new one for it. My son told my wife the other night they were doing something. He was like, "Look, Mama, no capping." And I looked at him and I was like, "Dude, I don't know what you're talking about." But all right, so can you explain what is Riz? Let's get your point of view. Define, not you, Trip. I've already had it from you, Coach Rack. What's Riz mean in your world?
Yeah. So Riz is like, gosh, that's hard to explain. I think it's like game. You know what I mean?
Okay, all right, game, gotcha.
Yeah, that's the best
Riz.
comparison, I'd say. You got game, you got Riz. I think that's got to be it. I think I don't know. It's new to me also, to be honest. So there you go.
Hey, reporters, why do we always feel the need to shorten a word? Why can't we just say the word? Like, he's got a game. We have to come up with another. Y'all just... No, it's not. Are you kidding? Riz versus game?
Yeah.
Say it. Don't
Listen,
have me.
Mateo, you're from the West Coast, so I know you're familiar with game.
He's just too old.
Who?
Who? Trip Dog, I'm about to kick you out of here. Dude. You find me too old?
It does kind of feel old to say.
All right, that's insane. Jen, we're getting old, and
Oh, I know
like,
that.
I wonder if these terms are in like the Urban Dictionary.
They
or
probably
something.
are.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I probably have
They
to
need
look them
to.
up.
They're not. big
Lila, you're up to bat.
All right, so what advice would you give to somebody that, like a kid that's in a slump or in a struggle point, and they just like feel like they can't get out of it?
Yeah, good question. And, to be honest, I started off this year in a little bit of a slump. Nothing crazy, but it felt like it to me. I was maybe batting 200 for a couple weeks there. And during that time, I knew the right things to tell myself, and it still was like, this is just so frustrating. So first and foremost, being in a slump sucks. It's frustrating. It's difficult. There's no way around that. It's always going to be difficult. As far as how we get out of a slump, I think the best thing we can do is not create any bad habits in the process. So here's what I mean. Slumps come and go. Like, they're inevitable to happen. Sometimes you're doing all the right things, and you're still just getting out all the time. That sometimes is the case. Sometimes you're just striking out every time. That also happens. But what I've seen happen with a lot of kids is they'll go into a slump for a little while, and then they start trying to change everything with their swing, right? They're trying to keep their elbow up. They're trying to turn their front shoulder in a little bit more. They're trying to keep their head super, here. And so sometimes we'll get into a slump and hit the panic button, and we're like, oh, we got to change everything in our swing until we get hits, right? Whereas sometimes we're closer to succeeding than we think we are, and we don't need to scrap everything and change it all. So I guess that'd be my encouragement to someone who's in a slump is one, know that you're not going to remember it 10 years from now. Like, I don't remember a single slump that I had growing up Like, I know I had them, but I don't remember them. Like, I remember maybe one game where I struck out 4 times, and I was like, am I capable of hitting a baseball? Will I ever hit a baseball ever again? That thought did cross my mind. That one just came to mind. I remember that one now. But beyond that, I don't really remember the slumps. Like, I had good tournaments. I had bad tournaments. You won't remember that stuff. You'll remember the hanging out with the friends and all of that good stuff. So just know, like, try as best you can to have a big picture perspective and know that it will come to an end at some point. But I think the best thing you can do is keep doing exactly what you're doing until it works, because it will eventually start working. If you have hit before in your past, then you know you're capable of hitting. So cling to that, know that you're capable of doing it, and don't hit the panic button and try to scrap everything. Just keep doing what you're doing, and eventually it'll even out. It always does.
I think some of it's got to do as well, Lila, is like, how are you hitting the ball? I mean, if you're hitting line drives, at shortstop, line drives to the outfield, I mean, you're making solid contact. So, I mean, I think you have to look at those type of things, too, and you can't just let the stats speak for themselves.
Yep.
Because, I mean, again, we're talking about baseball. If you get a hit 3 out of 10 times, there's a high probability in MLB you're going to be remembered for a long time. So I think that is important as well throughout all of baseball, and for your parents too. Like, it's okay. Like, because I can see it, Coach. Like, parents are trying to change everything. You need to shorten your swing. You need to get a little bit closer to the plate, back off the plate. And I think, like what you said, like, if you're doing something that has worked, then don't change a thing.
Just keep trying it. It sounds counterintuitive, but just keep trying it. Keep trying until it works. I mean, this season, that's what happened to me. I noticed that in the first couple of weeks, like, I wasn't getting a lot of hits at all, but I was getting a lot of hard contact, like a lot of good swings. And so I was telling myself, hey, trust the process. It'll even out. It'll even out eventually. Like, eventually those hits will come. It always does. So I just kept telling myself that. And 3 weeks ago, I was batting 220, and now I'm batting 330. So, and nothing really changed. I didn't hit the ball that much better over the past couple of weeks. It's just the hit started falling. I got a couple jam shot singles, got a couple little doubles down the line. Just hit started falling. I didn't change hardly anything. So just trust the process, but it's easier said than done for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen MLB players in a slump, and then they hit this little, like, bloopy single in this little hole in the outfield that, you're like, oh my goodness, that's a hit. But then that one, at bat changes the trajectory of that player.
Yep.
And got to stay patient.
That's right.
I think patience is like, that's my biggest, like, opportunity, Jen, and I know you would agree with me, but, like, we got to learn to have patience. We're so used to, in this day and age, of having things so quickly and right now. Like, and I think that applies to even getting ready to play a sporting event. Is if you don't have patience, it's going to be hard. So.
Yep.
All right,
no
who
doubt.
we got? Who wants to go next? Who wants to go next?
Me, please.
All right, Mateo, you got it.
All right, okay. So,
All right, speak up a little bit for me.
okay. So, what is your pre-game routine? Like, what do you do before a baseball game?
Good question. My pregame routine looks a lot different as a banana than it used to. My pregame routine used to be, go through my whole dynamic warm-up, do some, the karaoke runs and whatever, and a couple sprints, make sure the body's fully warmed up, play some long toss. After that, I'd do some star stretching visualization. So I'd lay down on the floor like a starfish, and I'd visualize some bombs, hitting the ball into the seats, visualize that base hit over shortstop, all that good stuff. And then I would thank God for the day, for another day to play ball, and then I would go make sure I got all my equipment in order, and then I'd go play. Now, it's all of those things for the most part. Sometimes I skip the dynamic warm-up, and even sometimes I skip the playing catch because I'm out in the plaza signing stuff and taking photos with people. So with the bananas, it's sometimes we always do this grand entrance where everyone enters in through the gates, and there's just like a flood of people coming through, and the players are standing out by the gate when that happens. And there are some times where I get caught up out there, and I'll be out there for about an hour and a half signing stuff, taking photos with people, and I don't make it back to the dugout till game time, till like security escorts me over there. And that's usually like right before we have to go do our banana warm-up. So sometimes I have a very abbreviated warm-up, on game day, but optimally would be the whole routine I mentioned earlier with the star stretch and all that.
I get a question
So
for
you
you.
guys are going to be doing that at some point in time. You're going to be signing autographs and all that fun
That's
stuff
right.
too. So
That's
you
right.
Got to figure it out.
Practice your autograph now.
That's right.
Practice getting quick at it now. I did when I was your age. I know that. Oh yeah. When I was your age, I'd practice my autograph all the time. Because I knew at some point I would have to do it.
Look, you guys better get ready for Cleveland because I know there's going to be some people that want your autograph.
Mm-hmm.
And Coach Rack might be one of them.
That's
So it
right.
better look good for
I would
Coach.
love to have your autograph, so be ready.
Jen, what you got? Look like you're about to have a question there.
Oh, I just have a really selfish question really quick. Do you guys have like athletic training staff and people for injuries and all that? Yeah.
We do.
I never really thought about that. So I'm a PT by day and I'm practicing by night. And
Nice.
so yeah, like that would be such a cool gig to have. To be
Yeah.
the athletic trainer or the PT for the bananas.
Jen, you looking for a job?
You should come down here. That we probably need the help. We got at the moment we have one full-time staff for both the party animals and the bananas, and then I think her husband is also a trainer, and so he's going to potentially join on a little bit more full-time when the firefighters join. But even then, it's like we could probably use more staff there for sure.
That would be really fun. That would be
Yeah.
amazing. I've never worked with any professional athletes before, so I actually own my own physical therapy office here in Spartanburg. So.
Really? Oh, cool. That's super neat. Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah, I don't know. I was going to say, it's funny that we're professional athletes. Like, I guess we are, but it seems like just a random, normal group of dudes. But, yeah, that's cool.
Well, look, Jen, when I move down,
Yeah.
you can just move the shop down with you, and
Okay.
we'll see if we still got an opening for you.
Sounds like a plan.
I'm gonna pull up these receipts right here whenever we
Pull
whenever
them
that
up.
happens.
That's right. Keep those receipts. Keep them receipts. All right, Trip Dog. Riz
Sure.
was your last question. What you got for us now?
So Coach Rack, I know you was in Baton Rouge, like last week, and I was wondering, did you get any crawfish or shrimp?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had a formal Louisiana crawfish boil. They got bags and bags of crawfish, and I kind of felt bad for the crawfish, to be honest with you. When they threw them into the boiler, I did feel bad for them. Being from California and all, I wasn't used to seeing that. I did enjoy them, though. They did taste great. There was some corn and potatoes as well with all of that. So, yeah, did have some crawfish. Definitely did enjoy them as well.
The original right there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Coach, I've never ate a crawfish, but all I ever see is like people break the shell open and then it's like they drink something out of it or something.
Yeah,
Or,
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't do that part. That just kind of felt weird to me, so I didn't suck any of the juice out of it. But I did eat the meat though, and there's also sometimes meat in the claw, so I also would break the claw and get a little bit there too. So yeah.
Trip, you like?
Coach Aaron.
Trip, you like eating those?
Yes, sir. That's probably one of my top favorite foods.
Now, how many would you have to eat in order to like have a meal? Would it be like 50 or is it like 10?
Probably about like 5 pounds.
5 pounds. For you?
150. I don't know.
What's the juice? Tell me more about that. What is it?
Like, it tastes just like the crawfish, but it's just liquid. Like, literally.
Just
So it's
inside
water?
the crawfish.
So, like, after you tear off the tail, you just drink, you suck it out you suck the head, and then eat the meat or whatever.
All right.
I just need to know more. I need to know what juice is.
Yeah.
Lila's like,
Lila's not about it. Understandable.
Listen, Trip, when I come down to Louisiana, oh, Lord, he's about...
Oh,
Is that the seasoning?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. Good
All
stuff.
right, when I get down there, dude, you're gonna have to like show me how it works, and I might try it. I don't know. I'll try it for you, Trip. I'll do it for you, dude.
Hungry.
Now he's done got hungry. Look, we ain't got time for you to eat 5 pounds of crawfish right now. Like, we're in interview mode here.
That's right.
All right, Lila. I was gonna go to Big E, but Lila, you up?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Go ahead.
What is the most common issue you see in young hitters?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a great question. You guys all are really good at asking questions. I got to say that. I'd say the most common issue in young hitters is not a mechanical issue. It is a mental issue, and it's that they're thinking too much. And I think it usually becomes a problem by well-intentioned coaches and parents who have advice for kids about how they should be hitting the ball. And sometimes that advice is helpful. A lot of times it is. But when you get into a game, that advice is not helpful at all. The most helpful thing, the best thing you can do, here's my just overarching philosophy on hitting. I think in practice, when the ball is stationary, so off the tee, maybe even off soft toss, like that's when you're fixing your swing mechanics. And you got to learn your swing mechanics. It's an important thing to learn. But once you get into a game, you got to just trust what you got and just focus on hitting that little white or yellow baseball. Because if any mechanical thought you have about where your body should be, that is a distraction of your attention away from hitting that little white or yellow baseball, which is going to make it just that much harder. So I think the biggest thing that I see kids do is they get up to the plate and they know that they say have an issue with, I don't know, dipping or something, and that's something they struggle with. So then they get up to the plate in the game and they're like, okay, I need to not dip. I need to just stay here and then hit the ball. No, if I'm coaching that kid, I'm telling them, hey, don't worry about what you struggle with in practice or doing this or don't worry about any of that. See that ball? I want you to hit it as best you can. And then if you still need to make an adjustment after that, then we go to practice the next day, and then we can tweak your mechanics a little bit there and go through that whole process. But then once it's the game, we're just focused on hitting that ball. So that's, I think, the biggest mistake is thinking about mechanics too much in the game.
Oh, I love that. Mateo.
Yeah.
Now, he just talked about like not adjusting your swing necessarily in a game. What did you take away from that? Like, do you feel like when you get into the batter's box, you're thinking way too much because you got parents and everybody, get your elbow up, stand closer to the plate, back up, get closer. Like,
my mom is really taught like that stuff, and like nobody like in the crowd nothing. I just like think I'm just gonna hit this ball like really hard and really well, and I'm gonna get on base and hopefully score. Yeah.
Gotcha. You know what? I knew you were going to have a great answer, and that's why I called on you, Banana Boy.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. All right, Big E, you've been in and out with us, but I need you to get a question in here.
It keeps on kicking us out.
It's okay. Just go right ahead. Let's just throw a question out here.
So, Coach Rack, do you like playing Fungo Golf and all the other games and all that?
I do. I definitely do enjoy those games. In college, that's when I first learned how to play Fungo Golf, and we play all the time. Whether it's a lot of those videos are just me recording what we would ordinarily be doing at practice anyways. There's like baseball, there's so much downtime where you're just kind of standing around doing whatever. At practice, sometimes we're taking BP, and all the pitchers are out shagging fly balls, and there's really nothing to do. So we're like, we got to figure out a little game to play. So a lot of my videos are inspired by just like everyday occurrences that you might find us doing at practice. So yeah, I absolutely enjoy it.
And are you the originator, the creator of Fungo Golf?
I'm definitely not the originator. I think I'm maybe the one of the first people to bring it to light on social media, because I feel like something people in college college baseball especially, have been doing for years. I'm talking probably 20, 30 years, but it just hasn't really surfaced to social media until recently. So yeah.
That might be a cool thing for us to do on the opening day after we finish like all the banana camps that you guys are going to go through. I think that would be kind of cool.
I think so
I'm
too.
going to take a note of that.
Do it, Trev.
I like it.
All right. Who we got? Jen, you got anything for Coach?
I'm liking the questions from the kids, honestly.
I know. All right, Mateo, I'm going to let you go next, dude.
All right. So basically, I saw you live with Dodson, and you mentioned that you liked photography. Tell us about it.
Yeah, when I was 14 years old, there was a guy named Forrest who also did well, at the time he did photography. I didn't do photography at the time, but I thought Forrest was super cool and took the coolest photos. And at the time, Instagram was just becoming a thing. His first year, Instagram was a thing in the App Store. And so I was like, you know what? I want to get into photography. So in 2014, I started doing photography officially and did wedding photography through high school and through college. That was if I wasn't making content and doing the stuff that I'm doing now at the Bananas, I'd probably be a wedding photographer. That'd probably be my job. I love taking photos. And I still get to use a camera a lot with content now, which is fun. But yeah, I love taking photos.
Are you for hire for a wedding?
Perhaps. Depends on my I have a pretty, full schedule at the moment, but I would, definitely consider.
I could see, a fiance laying in bed and be like, hey, I was thinking about hiring Coach Rack. Take pictures at our wedding. And that would be fun. That would be fun.
I like that.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm ready for this one, dude. You keeping us on our toes. Let's go.
I got a question. Where's the farthest you've ever traveled for baseball or banana ball?
Yeah, good question. I haven't traveled that far for banana ball yet. The furthest I ever traveled by plane for baseball was playing in Cooperstown. I'm from Southern California, and we played up in Cooperstown, New York. That was quite the long trip, but we flew, so that was nice. The longest car ride I've ever had for a baseball game was a bus ride from Casper, Wyoming to Brandon, Manitoba in Canada. And that was a 14-hour bus ride, and we played there in summer ball. And I remember after one game, the game ended at 10:30 at night, and our bus the next morning was at 4 a.m. bus to head back to Casper, Wyoming. So after the game, my friends and I just pulled an all-nighter and hopped on the bus at 4 and then slept the whole bus ride home. But yeah, 14 hours is probably the longest bus ride I've had for a game.
I got a question.
Yeah.
So, when you went to Cooperstown, how old were you?
12 years old.
No way. No way.
Yep. Oh, yes, way.
I'm going to Cooperstown this year.
You what?
Yeah, he's going
I'm
this
going
year.
to Cooperstown this year and next year.
No way. That's pretty cool. It's so much fun. I loved it. That was some of the most fun I've ever had. You get to stay in a dorm with teammates, eat the cafeteria food. It was a lot of fun.
Lila Lila plays, like she said earlier, for an all-girls team called the Ball Girls. And
That's
they
cool.
went to Cooperstown last year, and if I'm not mistaken, they were the very first all-girls baseball team to play at Cooperstown, right, Lila?
Yeah. Well,
No way.
Cooperstown All-Star Village.
You guys are making history over there. That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you, so I think her mom had the stream up, and they were playing one night until 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah. And then the
I
next
was
night
up.
we did it again.
Yeah, I was up watching them play, and they had they actually had to move the field from one field to another because there were so many people wanting to watch these girls play.
Wow.
And
So you guys were like
ballers.
celebrities out there.
Yeah.
That's cool.
They had players following them around, asking for autographs, asking for pictures. I mean, she's a celebrity.
Yeah. Dang, that's cool. I'd love to watch y'all play.
Look, I'm gonna tell you. Tell them about Ashlyn. So Ashlyn she's a Canadian by birth.
Yeah.
She trains, and I said, tell us about Ashlyn, and I'm doing it, but I'll let you fill in the blanks. So she's 13 now.
She's 13.
Yeah, 13. She can pitch right and lefty. Complete
Wow.
control. She can hit the ball righty and lefty with power. I
Wow.
mean, MLB's already done a documentary on her. And,
Wow.
It's
She's
pretty
the
amazing.
No Days Off documentary.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
crazy.
So
Good for her.
I'm telling you, and she's bringing them all out to Cleveland with her. So Can't
That's
wait.
awesome.
Can't wait.
Yeah,
All
she
right,
was
Lila,
the
what you got? Oh,
she
go
was
ahead.
leading for a while at Cooperstown. She was leading home runs, and then they came to the last game, and the team of the kid that was like tied with her, they got to play another game, and he hit a home run in that game, so she came in second.
How many did she hit?
I think like 8.
Sheesh.
She hit.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
she almost hit one every game.
Wow.
It was amazing to watch.
Yeah.
So great group of girls and great coaches. So, Mateo, you look shocked there. Are you ready for a question? Are you ripe? Right now is a banana. Are you ripe or are you rotten?
I am always going to be ripe. Because I'm always ready.
Okay, good,
So,
good. Always ready. All right, you got a question?
Yeah, so, So, like,
All right, while you thinking of that one, I'm going to throw out one of the questions that Lila got last night on her video.
That was a cool video, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How do you take care of your hair?
Yeah,
There was a
all the boys
question
on my
there.
team were asking about the hair. Everyone
Yeah.
wanted to know.
It's a great question. I don't know if all the moms out there are going to like my answer. I just don't really wash my hair, you know? I just like,
There you go.
I'll just
Don't
rinse it
tell
out.
them that.
Just rinse it out. I'll wash my hair here and there, you know. If I get really sweaty. I'm not a very sweaty person, so I'll usually just rinse it out. But if if it gets real dirty, we'll wash it. But generally speaking, as long as I don't wash my hair, then it doesn't get that greasy. If I wash my hair, then like 2 days later it gets all oily. Yeah, my wife Gigi, she cuts it. Before she did, my mom would cut it. And yeah, I need to make another tutorial on that, I think.
So is that why you have no Riz?
What'd you say?
Is that why you have no Riz?
That might be why.
Probably.
Yeah, I haven't
I think
considered that.
that's why.
Yeah. That might be it. Shoot. Yeah, that might be it.
Listen, he's married. He don't have to worry about the Riz now.
I don't. Yep.
You know what I'm thinking about, though, is the amount of money that you've saved between your mom and your wife cutting your hair. Holy cow.
That's what I'm saying. Smart financial decision.
That's right.
All right, so Tripp's showing us that mullet. Go ahead and take that hat off again.
Yeah,
Show
let's
us.
see it. Yeah, good. Very nice. Trip, would you say that you got Riz or what?
Sir, I got all the girls.
Oh, really? How about that?
Trouble.
Is it the mullet or what is it?
Sir,
What is it that attracts all the ladies? Is it the mullet or is it just purely your personality?
I think it's just like me and like all my drip. And, like, yeah.
Yeah. I got you.
Lila, you was that made you laugh a little bit there, didn't it? It's all right, Trip. Hey, look, the better you get and the more Riz you get, I'm guessing you're gonna have more haters. So it's okay. It's okay, Lila. It's okay. All right, Mateo,
okay.
are you
So-
ready now?
Yes, I'm ready. I am now ripe. Okay. So,
All right, knock it out.
what college did you play for, and what was the experience like?
Yeah, I went to UC Riverside my freshman year. They're a Division I school. Played there for a year, and my experience there was, wow, these players are really good, and I'm no longer the best player on my team. In high school, I was probably the best player on the team. I wasn't always growing up, but I hit a little bit of a growth spurt and had a really good junior-senior year. So I went from that to playing college ball and was like, oh, I am no longer even close to being the best player on the team. I'm not even top 10 best players on this team. And that was a tough adjustment. So that was my experience my freshman year, was having to learn how to be patient with myself and let myself grow a little bit and work out a lot and, be a good teammate on the bench. That was my experience my freshman year. After that, I went to Biola University. I was there for 3 years and had an okay sophomore year and then had a really good junior and senior year. And as far as the school goes, I really loved Biola University. UC Riverside was a lot more affordable, but Biola had a really cool community, made a lot of really good friends there. I was really good friends with my teammates there. and I studied Christian ministry there at Biola, and I really loved my classes that I had there. I was never much of a school person, but I really did like a lot of my classes at Biola. So I'd say that was my experience at college. That's another thing that a lot of athletes don't talk about is most of your time is spent during school is spent doing school. I probably I spent more hours studying than I did playing ball for the most part. So if you go to a school where you don't really like your classes, you're going to probably not enjoy a lot of your time there. So that was something I didn't really factor in going into college, was thinking about the academic side of things. But, that was my experience. Loved Biola, the school, and my freshman year just really had to learn how to be a good teammate and be a good bench player.
I think that's a key point right there that we don't talk about enough is, hold on one sec, Lila, is how would you define being a great teammate?
I would define being a great teammate by, do you make, gosh, that sounds so literal, but do you make the team better? Because there are some players that make the team better when they're playing, but when you put them on the bench, then they're talking bad about their teammates, they're talking bad about their coach. Why is my coach not playing me? I should be playing. Why am I here? And they have a bad attitude, and they don't hype their teammates up, and then they get jealous when their teammates do play well, and they don't want to congratulate their teammates. They want to make it about them and pout in the corner. So there are players like that who don't make the team better when they're not playing, and I would say those are bad bench players and bad teammates, and I'm guilty of being a bad teammate at various times in my career where I really wanted to be playing and I wasn't playing, and so I was going to be frustrated instead of trying to build my teammates up. That being said, I think there's also players who are great teammates all around, because I think everyone's capable of being a good teammate when they're the star player. When you're the star player, it's super easy to be a good teammate and be and cheer up your buddy who just is having a rough day. It's easy to do that when you're playing well. But when you're not playing well and when you're not the star and you're on the bench, that's where the true character is revealed of a player, and that's where you get to see, okay, are they still going to make their team a better team from the bench where there is no glory? And so I think a good teammate is someone who is not just a good teammate when they are the star player, but someone who's also a good teammate when they are on the bench and they're still making their team better from that position.
I think that is so key for parents right there. If you're going to focus on making your kid the best at something, let them learn how to be a great teammate first. Mm-hmm. So when they hit those slumps, you've got people around you that can support you. And when you're on top of the world, you still know how to be a great teammate. Mm-hmm. I think that's key. All right, we're going to go Lila, and then we're going to go Big E, okay? Big E, we got you here. Lila, what you got?
All right, so while we're talking about teammates, I just want to know, who's your favorite Banana Ball teammate?
It's a great question. It is tough picking favorites. I love a lot of different teammates for different reasons. I'd say I've known Dalton the longest, Dalton Malden. Him and I played summer ball in 2018. So him and I go way back. I've known Dalton for a long time. We're really good friends. Dalton's one I've known the longest. At the same time, a lot of these new guys that I've just met, we have a ton of fun. So, guys like Bill Leroy, guys like Andy Archer, and, there's a lot of really cool guys that I've just recently met who we've quickly become great friends. So, yeah.
Big E, you up?
So, we're going back to the Riz part now.
All right.
Okay.
So how you get the good Riz? You obviously see I got the flow. Trip got the flow. Raps got the flow. So that's how we all get the Riz. All of our faces are clean. We got the drip.
Mm-hmm.
He's moving. He's moving.
Yes. Yo. And Raps got the mustache. It's fire.
Thank you, sir. Yep. It's Mustache March. I've been debating whether or not I should keep it at the conclusion of March. I asked the wifey. She's indecisive. I think she's good either way. She probably wants me to shave it, but it's too nice to tell me. But yeah, we'll have to see. April, I might be completely clean shaven, but yeah, Big E, you got great hair. So do you, Trip Dog. That's probably how y'all got the Riz, I'd say. Yeah.
Yep.
When I first saw you with the mustache, I think it was in Tampa, I was like, that's different. I was so used to seeing you like clean faced, but now I've grown used to it. So
yeah,
I think it suits you
a little bit. It's noticeable. So that's good. Like with social media, you're always trying to like have these characteristics that people can identify you by, you know, and the catchphrases and all that stuff. It's good for branding in general. But yeah, I don't know. I'll probably get rid of the stash soon. Who knows?
All right, Trip, what you got, bud?
Oh, I ain't got none, but Big E had another question.
Oh, go ahead, Big E.
So, when you were playing Fortnite, that was my dad that you were shouting out on my TikTok.
Hey, I love that. That's pretty cool. I'm sorry you had to watch me play Fortnite. I'm not the best at it, but you know, I try my best. So I guess that's got to count for something.
Maybe I can friend you and I'll teach you.
Teach me how to crank some 90s or something. That sounds good.
I got you.
All right.
Okay. Crank some 90s.
Yeah.
What's crank 90s mean?
I don't know. I just heard a kid say it one time.
It's in a 1v1, right? So you're doing you versus another player. So you put a stair, a wall here, and a wall here. Then you rotate, stair, wall here, rotate again where you're facing like this, stair, wall, and then keep on rotating in 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Then then single edit, it's where you put a floor, edit, and a double edit is a floor cone, and a triple edit is a floor cone wall.
Wow. Big E, look, I would have a lot of questions for you if I didn't know you were a straight A student. But
okay,
that
for like Fortnite. Because like I do math so good, so and I also I got the Riz. I riz on my teacher all the time, so that's why she's in the straight A's.
You riz on your teacher?
No, that's crazy.
Are you trying to are you trying to spit game to your teacher?
Huh?
Are you trying to spit game to your teacher?
No.
Okay.
That's what you said, though.
But
That's kind of weird.
I gotta learn.
I rizzed on my principal.
Okay.
Yes, I rizzed up the principal. Too far, Biggie.
Look, I don't want to see you in a headline somewhere about risen on a teacher and a principal here now. So
they know me as the Rizzle Dog.
The Rizzle Dog.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to seriously have to start keeping notes because I'm losing.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep up. It's hard to keep up with all the new terms, man. I was proud to throw cranking 90s out there. You know that I was pretty proud of myself to know that one.
That sounds pretty cool though. Like that dude was cranking 90s.
That's what I'm saying. Sounds pretty cool.
It definitely wouldn't be what you explained, Easton. Like if you said he was cranking 90s, I'm gonna think like 90 exit velo, like his pitching speed, crank, like those kind of things.
Yeah.
All right, we got time for like one or two more questions here. We're not gonna keep him all night. All right, Trip Dog, what you got, bud?
So I want to add on to what Big E was saying about the teacher. So one time, I asked my teacher if they wanted a Christmas present, and they said, "You're my Christmas present." And the whole class, I just started laughing, and everybody was like, "Yo, what do you mean by that?" The teacher, what we were talking about. Look. It was so funny, and what was my other question?
I didn't even know if that was a question. That was just a statement.
So did you get your Christmas present?
No, because I didn't even
Listen, y'all about to get our show shut down here now. We're going to change the subject. All right. Lila, Mateo, you guys got... Trip, you got a question?
We should add... So we have this group chat, and I think we should add Coach Rack.
Okay.
The Memphis Grizzlies.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we'll save him, some. We'll save him some time to keep him off that one because maybe one day we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah. All right, Mateo, Lila, I'm gonna let you guys. You guys got anything?
I'm good.
Coach.
All right, Lila, I know you got one of those questions. I'm gonna use it for you as Coach Rack. What's your favorite dance move?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's a good question. I think. Oh man. I don't know what my favorite dance move is.
Are you a twerker?
No, I'm not a twerker. That wouldn't be me. No. Yeah, no, I don't know that I have like found my signature dance move yet, you know?
Okay.
I can dance a little bit, I'd say. But I will say I am still new to Banana Ball. So, you know, I think if you check in with me later on in the year, by then maybe I will have established said signature move, or something that's my favorite. But at the moment, I don't think I got a favorite. Yeah.
Okay. Jen, what's your favorite dance move? Look, I got to pull you into the conversation, and what better way to do that than ask you your favorite dance move? Is it the boot scootin' boogie?
Oh, you know, that brings up, I really like the Beyonce country song.
Yeah.
There is some people don't like it. Like if I play it at the office, people want me to change it. But I think, and there's a little dance that goes along with it. I don't know. I just goof around all the time.
Yeah. I only dance when there's no one at home.
Yeah.
And that's when the real dance moves.
That's the best time to dance. Yeah.
It is.
Oh, I dance all the time.
I know you do.
I have the jiggy, everything. Like.
Well, look, you two down there at the bottom, Trip and Big E, y'all gotta get that Riz game under control. So
I'm a grizzly bear. I can't control it, bro.
He's the Risley Bear. All right, look. We are going to trademark that one right there. The Risley Bear. All right?
I mean, the Wizard of Oz goes crazy, though.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my gosh. All right? Listen, we're going to have a marketing call after this one, and we're going to start cashing in on Riz.
Literally.
So.
Yeah.
Still got the Riz.
What about Mr. Risington?
Risington?
Oh, no.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Hey,
It
look,
goes Mr. Remington, then it goes Grizzly Bear, then it goes I forgot what was the other one. The one that Trip Dog said.
Wizard of Oz.
The
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz.
That's the highest rank you can get. That's like Unreal in Fortnite, bro. Like,
Oh, that's some Fortnite language. Okay. All right.
Yep.
All right. Well, look. Hey, we super thank Coach Rack for joining us today, right?
yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for having me. That was fun. And I learned some new stuff too.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm going to tell you, these kids have been so excited, the fact that you're coming on the show, and also some of our field reporters wasn't able to be here, and I know that they were excited as well for you to be here. And I, of course, can't thank you enough because I know what it means to these kids. So, but I can't let you go anywhere until we ask our final question.
Can I ask one thing really quick? I just want to know what your shirt says. I just want to know what your shirt says.
All my homies hate change-ups.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I really don't like change-ups. I don't think they should be a thing. I think they should be outlawed across the 50 states and even, beyond that a little bit. So, yeah, that's my take on that.
Gotcha.
Well, you don't
like
want
it.
to be folded like a door on a change up?
Nah, bro, I don't want to be folded.
Just like King of Juco gets folded on knuckle curtains.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fold it like an omelet.
Yeah, like an omelet.
All right. Well, look. Hey, we got to ask him our last question here, and all of these guys have been on the show and they've had to answer it. And I'm gonna tell you, Coach, this is usually the question that stumps most of our guests.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. You're walking up to bat tonight. What's gonna be your walkout song?
Yeah. I would say that I think that the song Racks on Racks, I think it came out in 2009. I think the word racks is referring to thousands of dollars. So I think that the kind of dual meaning of one, Coach Rack, also racks like lots of money. I think that would probably be a pretty cool walk-up song while stepping up to the plate. I actually don't know really any lyrics to the song besides the part that says racks on racks. So I wouldn't encourage anyone to go look it up or anything like that. But that portion right there, I think would probably make a pretty cool walk-up song for me, I'd say.
Gotcha.
What would your Taylor Swift walk-up song be? had to be Taylor Swift?
It would be All Too Well from Red, the original, not the 10-minute version. I'm a big Taylor Swift fan myself. I don't think it would be a very hype walk-up song, but I never skip that song when it comes on shuffle. So,
So you're a Swiftie.
oh yeah, it's funny because Jackson Olsen's known as like the Swiftie. I would venture to say I know more Taylor Swift than he does. Maybe not. But Taylor Swift actually has been my top artist for the past 7 years on Apple Music, like legitimately. Very little known fact. My sister grew up listening to Taylor Swift, and so did I. And for whatever reason, it's very sentimental. And I listen to Taylor Swift a lot. There you have it.
Wow. Well, look, I'll tell everybody something that I've never admitted on the show is I've seen Taylor Swift in concert.
Really?
I have. This was in 2011.
Wow. So it probably didn't cost you like $4,000 to go.
No,
that's
not
nice.
At all. But it was a great show. I'm a little bit different, so some of her music's not my cup of tea.
Sure.
But, I give her props, man. She's
quite the performer.
On point. Yeah, she is. So, all right. You guys have any final thoughts?
Oh, wait. Hold on. I got one more.
Not questions, final thoughts. Go ahead, Lila.
It's a thought.
Go ahead.
The thought is that Coach Rack will follow my Instagram.
I think so. I think that can be arranged. What kind of usernames are we working with here? I think Mateo, I'm already following you from NYABC. What are y'all's usernames?
Brickwall Bratch.
What was it?
Brickwall Bratch with an A for the Bratch.
That's cool. Yeah. That is a super cool name. For a catcher, Brickwall is just that's cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Brickwall Waterfall.
All right, who else we got here?
Close Easton.
His last name's Close, so Close Easton.
Nice.
But it comes up Big E, but it's under Close Easton.
Got it. Cool. What about you, Trip Dog?
Literally Trip Dog 22.
Oh, well, that's easy. Cool.
Yeah. So one of their first responsibilities when they became a field reporter for us is we had to have nicknames for these kids.
Of course.
And honestly, I call Big E. That's what I call him every single day, every conversation I have with anybody. I don't even call him Easton anymore. So,
yep.
Like it.
I love that.
I learned that from Coach Ballgame. Coach Ballgame, I took my son to a camp, and that was his rule, and love it.
Ballgame is the man. I love Coach Ballgame so much. It's so much fun hanging out with him, too. He's great. Never breaks character. That's just who he is.
I know.
Yeah.
It is. All right. Well, look, hey, thank you guys for listening to the show. We appreciate you very much. Make sure you go follow Coach Rack, but I know you already are. Go find his YouTube channel. If you have any questions, either from a parent, player, coach perspective, this dude is going to have information for you and really good, tangible, teachable information. So, Coach, I think you do an amazing job relating your content to your viewers, and I think you explained it perfectly earlier. Is you think about those times of the age groups that you were, and I think you do an amazing job at that. So,
thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome. All right, so look, you started the show, and you get to close the show. All right, this is our guest starts and closes the show. So at the end of the show, we always say, until next time. Biggie, what do we say?
We'll catch you on the slide.
That's right. So, all right. Well, I'm going to thank everybody for listening. Tell them where they can follow us. And then I'm going to say, until next time, Coach. And you can close this out. We'll catch you on the slide, okay?
Sounds like a plan.
All right, Jen, think it went okay?
This was fun.
This was amazing. This was very cool. And this is the first time that you're listening to our show. We're a youth baseball podcast, and we only deal with matters that face the youth athlete, the coach, and the parents. And so if you've got a youth athlete that you want to get their story on our show, feel free to reach out to us. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook, LinkedIn, and whatever other new platforms that come out tomorrow. I don't know. So just find us. You can find us at the Slide Podcast Show, and we look forward to hearing from you. But, reporters, until next time, Coach.
We'll catch you on the slide.